you'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
Can't get any better than this. It's America's favorite sport. On WHBQ television, 1970s, Memphis WHBQ TV, and today we're opening the September the 9th edition of Talking Memphis Wrestling, and I'm Randy Hills. What's going on? This show is produced by Adam Dunn. It is hosted by yours truly, the owner, the founder, president of Power Pro Wrestling, on the 9th day of September. Hi to PJ in Thailand, to Brandon Wheeler in Jonesboro, Arkansas, Calvin Lindsay Jr., he's in Mississippi, Thomas, West Tennessee, Greg White is Mississippi, King of Kingsport is in Kingsport area. Imagine that making any sense. All kinds of stuff going on. And hey, Donnie Turner in the house. Great to have you here today. Great to be live. Great to be on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Thrilled with this show today. Our normal routine, the cards of the week. We also have the photos of the week. We have two interesting videos today. For the first time, I think, ever on Talking Memphis Wrestling, we are going to show an entire show, Bo, that you happen to be on from July of 1998, where you wrestled the Spellbinder. The entire July 18th Power Pro Wrestling show. We'll show that. We're trying to get through the cards of the week, the pictures of the week, the first takes of the week, everything we're trying to do, and then we will go with the entire show number 14. Number 14, early on in the Power Pro Wrestling days. Man, I'm fired up. I'm excited. Donnie Turner, he might be a Blue Devil, but as you look at my shirt, open the roof, let it rain, we can give them hell. Hurricane, Jonesboro High School born, Jonesboro High School bred. When Randy Hills, by God, freaking dies, he is going to be Jonesboro freaking dead. I can promise you on that without a doubt in the world. First take time, quick first take, as Randy West is in the house and Ricky Kennedy's in the house and everybody's in the house. Again, I said Ben and I said King of Kingsport, everybody else. Let's do a quick take from a resident physician, our doctor, our surgeon, our guy that's either in Orange Beach or in New Orleans. Today, he's in New Orleans up on the 87th floor of the condo. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an educator. He is a doctor. He is a Memphis wrestling expert. He is a blues musician guy. And he's a chaser of Bigfoot, a man of so many talents. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes direct from that 89th floor, or whatever I told you a few minutes ago. This is Rusty William, Dr. Blues Doctor, husband of Beth, who's gone away just temporarily. She'll be back anyway. That I don't know how that means for the podcast tomorrow. Anyway, let's make welcome to Talking Memphis Wrestling because we have a lot to do. Rusty, first take time.
Hey, good evening. I never know what to say after intros like that. My wife says, uh, rather than being like a Renaissance man, I'm sort of just crazy about certain things like Bigfoot and wrestling and stuff. But she lets me have it. She's actually very tolerant of it. She's out of town. I am alone this week. She's seeing one of our daughters in Chicago for a few days. So I'm here in New Orleans because she flew out of New Orleans. So I'm looking forward to this show. You know, I saw we have a great crowd in the chat already. And we've got some great video to show some of my favorites from Memphis of all time. We're going to talk about a little bit tonight. So I'm fired up too.
Want to say, put you on a pause. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to travel to Huntsville, Alabama area. You already know the great stuff I always say. He's the star of this here freaking show. He is the voice of the Kamala video. He is the voice of the debut video of Hulk Hogan. He's a member of 1,375 million Broadcasting Radio Hall of Fame. He's a member of one Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and that's the only one that counts, and that's the one that he got to be in, that I made the decision, I put him in. So anybody that other people is put in that Hall of Fame, people kind of think a little bit about that. He is my friend. He is a COVID survivor. He's a radio god. Ladies and gentlemen, I need bonuses for these intros. Ladies and gentlemen, quick first take from Michael saying freaking Joshua's granddad, gone.
You need bonuses for these intros.
I just said that.
That's my take. Hey, I need that shirt, man. Jonesboro, put that shirt on camera. That's a cool shirt. The Jonesboro Hurricanes, is that right?
Yeah,
The Jonesboro High School
Hurricane, Jonesboro Hurricanes. As you know, I'm the PA voice of the Hurricane Volleyball starting this season. The head coach begged me to do it. She happens to be not really begged. She just said, Uncle Randy, do me a favor. And so Uncle Randy did. Hey, I like this. BLL from Canada says, hey, handsome Randy, came rolling into Memphis TWA to already handsome Randy is on the way. First take sign is football season in the United States of America. Hey, Michael.
Hey, I love it. I love it. And by the way, there's a lot of things happening throughout the wrestling world, and we'll try to cover it. I got to put a big thank you and give kudos to my good friend and our good friend, Bo James, who invited me to the 168th Coffee County Fair last Wednesday in Manchester, Tennessee. I made the 2-hour drive.
You invited yourself right here on the show.
I loved it. I loved it. And I got to tell you, Randy, I have a new appreciation for good indie wrestling because there were some really good wrestlers, the young guys that are coming on that were with him that night. I got to see Dangerous Doug Gilbert. He looked great. We talked Cowboys football, had a great time up there. Did get me some pork rinds and some bacon, whatever they call them, and I had a piece of fried corn, which out on a stick that I hadn't had in years. I had a ball, and thank you, Bo, for allowing me to be a part of it. It was a lot of fun. Folks, when you get a chance, if there's wrestling in your area, there's some really good independent wrestlers out there. And if you get a chance, go by and see some of these matches because that's really the future of this business sooner or later. So that's my take.
Now, let's be honest. Not every independent promotion we are endorsing right here. What we are specifically endorsing is Bo James, Southern States Wrestling. He's been in business basically as long as he's been alive. he was a young man when he started it. I fully endorse that, and I fully endorse everything Bo does on social media. He has a hang up of correcting things that I might say that's confusing, and he gets a thrill out of that. Bo's deal is, and we'll see Bo in action on the Power Pro show, and I want to hit that right at 8 o'clock, folks. But Bo gets a kick out of portraying himself as he knows much more than anybody else. Bo gets a thrill on that, but I love him for it. But it's fact, Jack. It's a fact, Jack. Any other first take there, Michael?
No, but I will say this, Bo, you're absolutely right about Bo. He has a great bastion of knowledge. I think he's one of the historians in our business that we need to cherish and use his. He's the Wikipedia of professional wrestling in East Tennessee and down through the Carolinas and all up through Appalachia and that area. And there was some outstanding wrestling up there in the day, and still is with his independent with Southern States Wrestling. So that's good stuff. And between him and Cornette, I mean, if you need to know something about pro wrestling, you got it right there. Those are the archives.
I think they come here to hear what we're going to say about the archives of Memphis Wrestling. Now, don't get too carried away. Don't be saying how great Cornette is and Bo is when you're sitting here on the radio show. I don't see Cornette putting you on his show, and Bo puts me on his every once in a while. But still, let's get the facts right. This is the place we want people to come to listen to and hear story about and see great stuff about on Memphis Wrestling. Am I not right?
No doubt
Let's
about
don't
it. No
get
doubt
carried
about
away
it.
here.
No, I'm not getting carried away, but I did wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to Bo and what was a really fun evening for me, and it gave me a chance. I'd been on and you know, Randy, I'd been on the stress ball, if you would, for about 3.5 weeks, and I had an opportunity to get everything cleared out of my mind, take that little sabbatical, and it was like a B12 shot. It really put some energy into me, and it was a really good and like fairs go and matches, you know, you've done them yourself. You got a crowd that pretty much comes and goes, but a lot of folks were interested in the matches on Wednesday night, and I really enjoyed it.
That's great, Richard Hood. What's going on with you? Me and Michael both say hello to you. Mike, we say hello to you. We're thrilled to death about this show today. We brought up and had pictures last week of the debut in 1979 of the Freebirds, a little bit of video, and Adam, I will tell you when to get out of this, but Michael, I don't know if you've seen this in a long time, but this goes back from the Memphis debut of the fabulous Freebirds from 1979. We'll get out of it early, but let's watch this right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
The fabulous Freebirds. We had a little glimpse of them, or at least one of them a little bit earlier. Terry Gordy and his partner, Michael Hayes. Here comes Gordy. Big 285, 290 pounder. And with him is Michael Hayes. Still got the towel.
You ready for this, baby?
Hey, if you're ready for it.
All you people at home ready for this? Can you get a camera over here? Hey, get a camera over here. You want me to come over here and run the camera?
Okay, we're ready.
Get a camera. Have you got all your friends? Have you got all your neighbors around the TV? If you don't say I didn't warn you. Now, before I do this, I want all you women to sit down, just have a seat. And if you're over 60, would you please leave the room? We don't want to have no
This is the most I've heard Terry Gordy talking about.
Get a camera over here.
Is he doing his best Tommy Rich or what?
We're ready.
Can I
Yes.
have a camera right here? Can you get a close-up on this first when I take it off?
Terry Gordy in the direction business right now, standing.
Okay, when I take the
Yes.
off his head, what I want you to do is just follow the towel up.
Terry,
Richard, thank
come
you
on
very
back
much.
over here.
Doing
We're
good
being
today.
introduced
Hope
him,
you
if
are.
you will. Are you ready?
Okay,
We are
here
ready.
it goes.
Michael
The prettiest
Hayes.
man in the world right here today, baby.
Okay.
You're getting to see this right here on TV. Okay, wait. You sure you got a good shot now?
They got a good shot, Terry.
Okay,
Believe
now
us,
just
they got a good
follow
shot.
the tail up, all right?
Yeah, okay.
If you can't do it, I will.
Okay, Terry, the directions are pretty clear. I think
Okay.
they can handle it up
Okay,
there.
here it goes.
Well, there it is, Michael Hayes. the other half of the fabulous Freebirds.
You look at it, baby. You look at it, prettier hair than Farrah Fawcett, more moves than John Travolta, more romance than Robert Redford. Baby, I could go on for days and weeks, but we ain't got all that time. Now I want you women to sit down.
Dusty
because
Rhodes
we're
and
fixing to
Tommy
take
Rich.
off
I
this
never thought I'd
$1
see the
million
day.
baby. And I don't want you to have no heart attacks or nothing. Now, Terry, if you will, assist me, baby.
Oh,
As
no.
I let it slide
Notice
on
Jerry
down,
Lawler has a
baby.
perm
And you
there.
see this
I don't think
beautiful
that lasted
body.
very
I
long.
want you to know that beauty has entered your television. Beauty has entered your home. Beauty has entered everywhere, baby. Now let me introduce you. We are the fabulous Freebirds. We are the greatest team in wrestling, baby. We stop for nobody. And
Michael,
we stop
look at that
everybody.
ring jacket
Every territory
Dundee
we've
is
ever been
wearing
to.
and
Now get
tell
that
me
camera on
whose
this
ring
body.
jacket
I want
that
you to look
is.
at this hair. I want you to look at his face. I want
Hopefully
you to
they'll
know.
show
I
it
want you to
again.
remember the
Okay.
time and the place, baby. Because we are the hot childs of the city. He do run wild and I do look pretty. And when we come to your town, if we ever do, I want you to know it's going to be a happening, baby. It's going to be something. So if we come to your town, we want you there. Now let me tell you something. It's like the man said. If you can bust this pretty face, if you can mess up these looks legally, but it's punks like them right there. When the going gets tough, they got to revert to cheating, baby. And when you do, this man here,
Fargo's
he's there
jacket?
to
I don't
take up
know.
the slack.
That's an
I
interesting
want you
jacket.
to know this. Now, don't you forget
Jerry
the name,
Jarrett.
the fabulous
Jerry
Freebirds,
Jarrett,
baby.
yes,
Because
yes,
we here to
yes,
stay
yes,
and
yes.
we don't play.
That's right, so I want you to just sit down right here, baby, and I want you to watch this match. It's going to be a bad case of POD pandemonium.
You know, before Terry got on the
Okay,
bad
Terry, if
stuff,
we
he
can,
could
get
talk.
the
He could
fabulous
talk as good
Freebirds in the
as
ring.
Michael Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
I think our time
And
is
let's
up,
go
Dave. We
ahead
don't
and
have
come
to
out of that
go on.
right
I'm kidding
now.
about
We won't
that.
watch the match. We will
No,
just
help yourself.
watch
Just
that
right
and
there.
we'll go because the fact that Rusty brought this situation up last week on Talking Memphis Wrestling, I found it and we watched it today. So thoughts on that interview, Rusty?
You know, I remember seeing this live on Saturday morning back in the day, and I just thought it was fabulous. I thought both Terry and Michael were just terrific. You know, and I had not seen them or heard of them before, but I kept following them after that. Then, I guess the reason I remembered it so well, or one of the reasons I remembered it so well, is that I actually got a chance to meet Michael Hayes years later when the WWF did WrestleMania in New Orleans the first time around. I think they've been there twice now. Anyway, yeah, the Freebirds of 19 and 17. Michael and I were almost exactly the same age. And I met Michael when he was in New Orleans for WrestleMania that time. He actually came to the gym where I was working out and just came for a workout on a Saturday morning of WrestleMania. And I stopped and talked to him for 20, 30 minutes and told him, I remembered seeing him back in 79 in Memphis. And he, was great fun and very nice. Gave me tickets to WrestleMania that night, which I didn't have. And signed a T-shirt, and we took pictures. And now I can't find the pictures. I don't know what happened to those. But anyway, so Michael became one of my all-time favorite wrestlers because of that, in part, and because of the this video that you just showed from back in the day in Memphis.
All right, Michael, what do you think about that video from 79 of the debut of the fabulous Freebird? Your comments on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
It had to have been right after they left Goulas. Well, 79, no, they were with Goulas in 77 and early 78. Then they left and ended up in Memphis. The moniker, the Freebirds, if that was the moniker in Memphis, where did it start? I mean, is that something they came up with, or did somebody in Atlanta come up with it? Because did they not leave Nick Goulas' side of the territory and go to Atlanta and then go to Memphis? Or did they go directly to Memphis? I can't remember.
I thought they were in Mississippi in between for the Culkins.
No, they started for the Culkins before they ever went to Nick because they were from that part of the country with the Culkins. So that was the first. I don't know if they were put together there, but they both started there.
Yeah.
Well, Terry was a Chattanooga prodigy, Chattanooga guy.
Right.
And then I guess
from Pensacola.
Pensacola, yeah. Well, I would love to know where the brand of the Freebirds came, because they were not known as the Freebirds when they left Nick. And I had to carry Terry Gordy to the hospital, to the emergency room when the Sheik nearly killed him. And I know Michael was a big Philadelphia Phillies fan because I got him a baseball jacket that we'd gotten in a giveaway and we didn't use because there weren't many Philly fans in Nashville. So he took the Phillies jacket. But I would love to know when they got that branded. Now, Bo is saying that this is their first appearance as the Freebirds. So is that something that Jerry Jarrett came up with, or is that something, Randy, that somebody on the Memphis side came up with?
I would say it's something that came from the mind, probably the high mind of Michael Hayes,
Yeah, I would agree.
along with Terry Gordy. That's what I think. But can you imagine Michael trying to explain that to Nick Goulas?
No.
So I think Jerry Jarrett, who was younger, remember those stories used to said Dick used to go on rampages. He's about Mike Boyette a long time. He'd tell people, said that Mike Boyette, that hippie, he's on those marijuana pills again. He thought pot was pills. That's Nick Goulas, behind on the times. Marijuana pills. Have you heard that story?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jim Cornette's told it several times.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, he said that about the Freebirds, that Nick, told some of the other wrestlers, watch out for them Freebirds, because I
Now,
think
Bo
they're
is
in
saying
marijuana
that
pills.
Bo is saying it's all of Michael's Hayes creation. I'm saying that, but somebody had to give it the green light. What I'm saying is Nick wouldn't have green lighted it because he wouldn't understand it, and Jerry Jarrett
But Jerry
would have
would have.
understood it, and he green lighted it. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind.
Well,
There's a little sabada, a little Fernum Durnum Bo that was kind of in the mix during the gimmicks, man. Every slang for drugs I can think of, and not the kind of drugs that Dr. Robinson's used to prescribe. And this is the illegal kind that the Freebirds, some say, might have been on back in the time. You think that's a safe bet back then, guys?
I think they smoked pot back then. I'm not so sure they were on anything else when they were in Nick's territory. But I will say this, and and this is, I'm not trying to take shots at anybody, but when Nick had them, they got so hot in that territory so fast. Of probably anybody I've ever worked with in wrestling, they came in, and by the third week they were main eventing and just blowing the place apart. People were buying tickets to see them.
Yep.
They were selling, they were putting butts in the seats, and there was a certain jealousy that developed because of that, because the Jet Set was supposed to be the featured tag team, and Nick was a tag team territory. I mean, and they were supposed to be the ones that everybody gravitated to. Well, these guys came in and they were shotgun to the top. I did a show. We did a taping at the City Auditorium in Chattanooga. I had a white suit that was very prominent in those days from the Saturday Night Live movie. I had that same suit. And they got a four-way juice, well, three-way. George didn't get juice, but everybody else did. And Michael Hayes came over, and we were at the table right there by ringside by the pole, and he was sweating profusely and he bleeding too. And he took that hair and he went like this and like that. And all of a sudden, I had a white and red polka dot suit, and my ex was in the third row, and she's screaming because she knew how much I paid for it. But the backstory of that is, I got back to the locker room, and Nick said, "Take your clothes off." I went, "What?" He said, "Take your clothes off." He said, "Give me your jacket and give me your pants." And he chased one of the wrestlers out of the shower, turned the cold water on, and drenched the suit. Threw it in a trash bag and gave it back to me. I'm in a pair of shorts, gym shorts, and a t-shirt, leaving the arena. And we took it back to Nashville, but took it back to Hendersonville. Lisa washed it, and it came out perfect. I mean, we took it to the dry cleaners to be, after she washed the pants. But anyway, they were really hot. They were red hot, fire hot.
You could see it even then how good they were going to be. There's no question. They stole the show that day and from there on.
Fabulous Freebirds in Memphis. Loving watching that video. Everybody stay tuned, because at the latest, about 10 minutes after 8, we've been doing segments every week, the last few weeks, about the run of Power Pro Wrestling. And Adam suggested showing a complete show. And today, I think you people saw a little bit of the stuff we're going to see today on highlights, but in context of an entire show, this is a show with Bo James on it, all kinds of stuff on it. Show number 14 from the Power Pro days, July the 18th, 1998, and we will absolutely see that complete show on Talking Memphis Wrestling today. Photos of the week, we'll start off with 4509. Photo of the week is 4509, and this is a very interesting picture, and this is who?
Big Bad John, isn't it?
It's Big Bad John.
That's one of them. Who's the referee?
Ronnie West?
Absolutely. Ron West, the late great referee and promoter. Ron West and Big Bad John, great picture. How about 4527? As we are, sense of urgency here, Michael, describe this one from a program.
That's a program from the WWF. And of course, that's Andre the Giant, 7'4", 424 pounds, the eighth wonder of the world. That's a neat program. 75 cents, by the way.
4528, couple of brothers here. William, couple of brothers.
Oh, yeah. It's almost hard to recognize them, but, you know, it's Lanny Poffo and his brother Randy Savage, or Randy Poffo is his real name. You know, what's interesting there, Lanny is bigger than Randy by a good bit in this picture. I know Randy had played minor league baseball before he became a wrestler, so he was thinner at that time and more athletic, but he eventually put on the weight and became bigger than Lanny. But it's interesting how much bigger Lanny is there than Randy.
Michael?
There was a lot of people back in those days said that Lanny was a better worker than Randy. I don't know how that could be. I had a chance to work with them. I worked with their dad, with Angelo. We and I've described the trip that we took up to Hazard, Kentucky, and Harlan and Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and all that on a weekend to do wrestling, Princeton, Kentucky, and they knew the business. They were well trained. Their dad was an incredible talent, and rubbed some people the wrong way, but they were incredible talents.
That's great. And we look at this one, and we'll let Michael describe this one because one of his favorite people, and we talk about it. And certainly I love the fact that most things you hear about Nick Goulas as we look at 4529, Michael, is negative. What I like, the perspective you bring, because I never met Nick Goulas, the perspective that you bring weekly to this show is different than any perspective anybody else has on Nick Goulas. This is a great picture with a fancy suit.
That is, and that's one of those Olin Mills shots, I think, from way back when, and that's the Nick we remember. He always had his hair slicked back. One thing I can say about Nick, and I had a chance to go over to his house a couple of times, he was never not dressed. He was always, I mean, I've saw him very rarely without a tie and a coat, and he was always, and he was a gentleman. I mean, I know people say negative, and the boys say negative things about Nick, and I know that he was trying to please his wife and his only son and all that, and that's part of life, I guess. But there wasn't a man with a bigger heart than I witnessed it firsthand, and I don't know. People say, people say negative things about Nick. Well, there's a lot of things that people can say negative about me, and I just think that what he contributed. And at one time, he had such big towns that drew such good money that wrestlers were knocking on the door to come into the South, into the South, to the Mid-South. And you think about Memphis and Birmingham and Nashville and Chattanooga, and then a little bit of Louisville thrown in there, and Bowling Green and Tupelo and Florence, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa, and a little bit of Montgomery. He had some towns that were, and they were drawing on a weekly basis. They weren't running 3 days a month. They were running on a weekly basis, and he was drawing money with it.
Okay, we'll look at one final, and this is the collage. It's 4530 William, and this is a collage of Jerry Jarrett William.
The legendary Jerry Jarrett, one of my all-time favorites. He was really responsible for bringing Memphis into its, I guess you would call it, its golden age of wrestling. When he broke off from Nick in '78, that era from '78 to about '85 or so, under Jerry's guidance, was probably the best time, at least as far as I'm concerned. The best creative, the best, probably the most profitable in Memphis wrestling history. Jerry let's see, what I can hardly read, but I know he just died a couple of years ago. And I remember hearing Jeff Jarrett's, eulogy in a sense to his dad that he did on his own podcast a couple of years ago, and it was very touching. So, Jerry seemed to be one of the good guys, as far as I can tell, at least. I never met Jerry, but I heard about him from several people and obviously read all the stories. So I'd have to count Jerry on the good side of wrestling.
Jerry passed away in 2023, and that was a cute little montage. That's just quick words about that montage, the different looks of Jerry Jarrett, and then we'll move on to our cards of the week because we're going to try to get this whole show in. Remember, the entire Power Pro Wrestling show from 1998, show 14 coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to get to that on time where we don't have to go overtime today. That picture there, Michael.
I think that really says a lot about Jerry's life, and it was a great life and a life well lived. But I will say one thing, and it hit me when you first put that up, Randy. That middle picture, that upper, the picture at the very top in the middle, how much Jerry looked like Miss Tina. Teeny, when she was that age, and I knew Teeny when she was that age, and looking at that picture of Jerry, he looked like his mama, bless his heart, and God rest his soul.
No doubt about it. All right, we are going to take a little break real quick. We're going to have a question as we come back about the opening. When this is old school opening, as we do a little transition as we go into the cards of the week, we'll be back on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
All right, Michael, here's what I want to ask you, because we changed our opening in specific to the Fun Radio station. However, we noticed the link to that has been, you've been having all kinds of technical problems with the transmitter and everything, but the option to click on the show went away, so we have quit playing that opening till that got straightened out. And I forget to mention it to you. Are you aware that went away on the
Was
website?
not aware of it until this very moment, but I'll get a hold of Chad and our IT guy, and we'll get that back up. It is the same link, though, correct?
Do what now?
It is the same link, right?
I mean, I don't know what you're
Does
asking.
it change? Does it change every week? I mean, do we have to change the link every week to get the show up?
Yes.
In other words,
But it does for sure. But we showed it 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and it's the same link that he got originally, because it's different than a specific show link.
Okay, yeah, I'll get back with him as soon as this show's over. I'll call him. In fact, and when we start showing the Power Flow show, I'll call him and find out why it went down. But we'll get it back up for sure.
Because we want to show Fun Radio. We show them love, the Fun Media Group. We show them love every single Tuesday night because Michael's here in the great studio there, and we see the banner there every week. But we like to have it a part of this opening, and it's my responsibility to tell you when things are off, and things were off, and I forgot to tell you that. Hey, Power Pro coming up in just a little bit. We're going to do some cards of the week. We'll start with 4510 and we're going to blow through these, everybody. This one is a September 1970 card that Mr. St. John is, and I'm sorry that I don't think this is Birmingham. I think this
It's Birmingham.
is Chattanooga, right?
No, it's Birmingham.
Says
Oh,
Birmingham.
Yeah. City Auditorium. I always call it Boutwell. But anyway, starting from the bottom, going to the top. This is September 1970 in Birmingham at Boutwell Arena. Go ahead with the card and then your comments. Then we'll get to Rusty's comments.
Well, this was before they named the auditorium after the former mayor of Birmingham, Albert Boutwell. So this is still the City Auditorium on the City Auditorium on 8th Avenue in Birmingham. Tickets are sold, of course, at the box office, and you can watch TV every Saturday night at 10 o'clock on Channel 42 WBMG TV with your commentator, Sterling Brewer, promoted by Nicholas Roy Welch and Joe Denenberg. Wild Tag Battle opened it up, Al Green with Frank Martinez against Bearcat Brown and Dennis Hall. This is before they started using Bearcat with Lynn in Birmingham because they didn't want to put a black man with an Italian, but for whatever that meant back in the day. Second match, another wild tag battle. It is promoted as Bobby Hart and Lorenzo Parente with manager Saul Weingroff, ex-spoilers, against Ken Lucas and Bullet Bob Armstrong. The grudge match of the year, Pepe Lopez against Lynn Rossi. I'd love to know what the angle was on that. I'd love to know that program because Lynn could super work. And, of course, Pepe Lopez, low to the ground, but guy that could get up on the air, had threw a great drop kick. And the main event was for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match, a battle of the century. Dory Funk Jr., the champion, was in town against Big Bad John. So that was the matches at the City Auditorium, Birmingham, Alabama. Look at the match time. It starts at 8:30. What time do you think people got out of the City Auditorium that night?
I'd say at the latest 10:15.
Really?
So there's 4 matches on the card. How many of those matches do you think would have been 2 out of 3 falls, Michael?
I think the championship match was 2 out of 3. I know it doesn't say that, but back in the day, that was how they bring the champion in, and they'd give a fall to the challenger. Of course, champion would win a fall normally on a quick counter, a fluke or something like that, and then they'd get over with a finish and try to save the baby face, but put the champion over. I would think that would be a 2 out of 3 fall match. I don't know about the other ones, but again, what year was this?
1970. About a year and a half into Dory's reign.
Okay, well, this is the 2 out of 3 falls was the standard back in 1970. So probably at least the last 2, maybe even the tag battle with Parenti and Hart and Paul Weingroff against Ken Lucas and Bob Armstrong.
Now, was there any kind of law where you had to be off the street in Birmingham, a curfew at all?
When I went to work in Birmingham in 73, it was a midnight curfew for public events, quote unquote, including the state fair, by the way. And so other than that, at that point in time, I would say there probably was still that midnight curfew.
Real quick thoughts, Dr. Robinson, on this world title card with Big Bad John. And that seems unusual because at the time I'm thinking Big Bad John was a heel, and usually the world champions, NWA world champions, would come in most of the time with the baby faces. What did you think about that card, Rusty?
Well, that was exactly what I was going to say. I was a little surprised that Big Bad John was Dory Funk Jr.'s opponent in that match. Dory Funk Jr. is actually the first NWA world champion that I can remember seeing live. I think I probably saw some of the others before that, but I don't have any recall of it. And this also reminds me, even though it's the same promotion generally as Memphis, the emphasis is a little different. Some of the wrestlers are different. In Memphis, I don't think Dory Funk Jr. would have wrestled Big Bad John for the title. I think it would have been somebody else. We didn't see Bob Armstrong as much in Memphis as they did in Birmingham or other places. But overall, I mean, it's a fun card, and I always enjoyed a good World Heavyweight Championship match.
For sure. We're going to look at Louisville, Kentucky on Tuesday, September the 5th, 1972. This is 4532, graphic number image number. And I don't know, Michael, I've got notes and you got notes somewhere, but this card in Louisville, you want me to do it or can you read it?
I can read it. I put my glasses on.
Okay.
Absolutely. The wrestling, by the way, was on channel 2 and or channel 32 at this time and channel 41. It was all not on Wave TV 3, which it later ended up with Jerry Jarrett. Jack Donovan and Frank Martinez opened up against Lynn Rossi and Eddie Marlin. Two good friends tag teaming, driving up from Nashville. The ladies match, the Fabulous Moolah in town against Sandy Partlow. And Sandy Partlow made a lot of shots with the Goulas Welch Wrestling back in the day, and a lovely lady. I don't remember Moolah coming to Nashville. I'm sure she did prior to me taking over commentating, but I got to meet her later. Tag team match, the Infernos with Dr. Ken Ramey. Now, I'm sorry, the interns. I said the Infernos. The interns with Dr. Ken Ramey against Chief Thundercloud and Chief Bald Eagle, two Indian wrestlers. I know Thundercloud was one of Nick's perennials, that he was always around when he needed Thundercloud, even later in life when somebody wouldn't show or there was somebody hurt or couldn't come in, he'd throw in Chief Thundercloud. The United States Junior Heavyweight title with Tojo Yamamoto against Don Green. In the main event, Jackie Fargo versus Al Green. Fargo said he'd retire if he didn't win. No time limit, no disqualification in that grudge battle, and I'll bet you Fargo won it because he didn't retire.
For sure. Your thoughts on this card, Rusty?
I remember the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship, but only vaguely. When did they finally phase that out? Do you know, Michael or Randy, either one?
I would say between 72, maybe early in 73. It was certainly gone by the time 74 hit, when they upped the Southern Junior title to the Southern Heavyweight title. Michael, did I speak right on that?
I think you're absolutely right. I think the World Junior title was an invention of Goulas Welch Wrestling. I know the World Junior Heavyweight title was a very prestigious title, and that was Danny Hodge for the longest time. And Danny traveled all around literally the world, and he was a great professional wrestler, an outstanding individual that got in the ring and showed a lot of boys how it was done. But I think the Junior Heavyweight title was an inception of this area and the wrestling of Goulas Welch.
Now, Jamie Davis has a comment, and this is off subject, but we'll go ahead and answer it. He says, wasn't the interns Tom Renesto and Big Bill Dromo? Tom Renesto was a part of the original Assassins with Jody Hamilton. As far as the interns that we saw around this time was Tom Andrews and Jim Starr. Michael, am I speaking right on that?
Yeah, those were the interns that I knew. I don't know if anybody else put on that mask as the interns. I never remember Renesto. I never remember Tom being anything but one of the assassins. And he and Jody were the assassins for several, maybe even 2 decades, for a long time.
Great team for sure, and a very good card there. We're going to do a couple of Memphis cards in a row, and we'll go to Memphis, September the 2nd, 1974, drawing 10,300 people. This is image number 4521, and it's a interesting card. And if he doesn't mind, we will have our buddy Michael St. John get his glasses back on if he needs them. If not, whatever. Let's go ahead and go to the Mid-South Coliseum.
I love the font of the Memphis Commercial Appeal and Press Scimitar when they ran these ads, because you could read them. They weren't just squeezed together. Opening match. By the way, Bert Bates' name is down there on the bottom with Nick Goulas and Roy Welch. Somebody brought Bert's name up a week or so ago on the show. Opening match was a 6-man tag match. Pepe Lopez, Bill Costello, and Tony Santos against Gil Shelby, Gary Hambrick, and Melvin Kimball. And if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Randy, those were 3 job guys with the territory, were they not?
Yes, and Melvin Kimball wrestled some as the Mummy in Memphis, and he was around, and I think Melvin was from Tupelo, Mississippi, and I think Gil Shelby later on was the sheriff deputy in Shelby County, and I don't have many memories of Gary Hamrick.
No, I'm not clear on that either. I know Bill Costello, if I'm not mistaken, was the gentleman that lost his life in Nashville. He was shot in a bar fight. Second match, and this was when Luthez, no offense, needed the money. And he was making shots. And I mean, this is a man that should be on the top of the card of every card in the history of wrestling forever. And he was down on his luck and down on his pocketbook, and he was working for Nick and in this period of time. And he's in the match against Joey Rossi. Somebody texted me, by the way, a couple of weeks ago, one of the shows I missed, and wanted me to do a comparison on the show between Joey Rossi and George Goulas as to their wrestling styles. And I went, probably pass on that. 6-man tag battle. Tommy Gilbert, Eddie Marlin, and Ricky Gibson against the Blue Scorpions with Mr. Kamikaze. Now, I have no idea who the Blue Scorpions are. That's the first time for me, bud.
Nick would just throw mask on people when he needed. This was obviously 3 strong baby faces, a great tag team in Tommy Gilbert and Eddie Marlin, and Rick Gibson, a babyface that was coming as one of the top, if not the top babyface in the territory. So that was a match to get Gilbert, Marlin, and Ricky Gibson over. And they were building for a Tommy Gilbert, Eddie Marlin, Ricky Gibson against Sam Bass, Jerry Lawler, and Lou Thez match. And we've showed that a couple of times on Talking Memphis Wrestling, as we are now into, Michael, the Southern Tag Team Championship, the first one of the main events, I would think, and we'll take a look at that.
I always loved it that Nick would always bill first main event, second main event, main event. It always got me of how that came about. But a great match, nevertheless. The NWA Southern Tag Team Championship on the line is Al Green and Phil Hickerson. What a fabulous tag team! If Pat was on here with us, he'd be singing the praises of one of the most underrated tag teams of all time, and totally agree. Hickerson and Green with manager Sam Bass taking on Bobo Brazil and Bearcat Brown in the second main event for the NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship. Jerry the King Lawler with Sam Bass against Robert Fuller with Tojo Yamamoto. So that had to be unique for sure. And
how about the third main event?
The third main event is a 22-man jackpot royal with $5,000 in the jackpot, and I wonder who won that money.
You know what? I think Ricky Gibson did.
Do you really?
He won the match. He probably didn't get that kind of money, but he won the match.
No, that's my question, is when these matches were billed for like a big amount of money back in those days, $1,000, $5,000, my God, that was $1 million back in those days. Did anybody get that amount of money, or did they just give a little extra for winning the Battle Royal?
They probably didn't get extra.
Yeah.
They might have got extra for wrestling twice. Now,
Gotcha.
That was basically the rule of thumb. So, but they wouldn't have made any extra money than anybody else for winning the Battle Royal. I thought that was a very interesting card, and the fact that in a town that heavy on African American, Bobo Brazil and Bearcat Brown as a team, that was just a tremendous team. We're going to skip a couple of places, Adam, so I don't want to confuse you. We're going to go at this point, and I'm kind of lost. Which card did we just do, Michael?
We just did Memphis with the Bearcat Brown. Can I make mention of the fact that in that Bobo Brazil Bearcat match,
yes,
neither one of them would win an award as a worker.
No.
I mean, these guys, they were an attraction, and I'm not saying that this has no racial connotation whatsoever, but they were an attraction back in the days, but neither one of them could work that well. I mean, Bearcat had the leg drop, and Bobo had the cocoa butt, and that was about it.
Absolutely, and especially Bobo drew money all over the country. Getting a little bit out of whack, but it's 45-33 This is the September 5th, 1977 card that drew 10,122 people. One of the most significant matches, I think, in the history of Memphis Wrestling. And Adam might be having trouble finding this, but he's not. Notice the changes of format. Now, this was once Jerry Jarrett made the split in April of '77. Now the ad looks a lot different here. But Michael, this is a Jarrett Promotions Wrestling Company card for September the 5th, 8 o'clock at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. And here's Michael St. John, and I think you won't have any issues at all reading this card.
Well, it opens up with a six-man tag battle with Leroy Brown, Radamus, and Terry Gibbs taking on Beautiful Bruce Swayze, Armin Hussein, and Ed Flugert. Okay. Next match, Dr. X. There were a million of those versus Robert Gibson. And in the Southern Tag Team title match, the belts were held up by the NWA. The Hollywood Blondes versus Jim Garvin and Jerry Bryant. Also on that card, Brute Bernard and the Angel with Homer Odell as their manager against Norvell Austin and Pat Barrett. And Jim Dalton against the Exterminator #1, whose mask was at stake. And then an 18-man elimination tag match, every man for himself. There was $3,000 on the line there. And the main event, and this is what people bought the tickets for, it was Jerry the King Lawler with his hair at stake against Bill Dundee with his hair at stake. Somebody was going to lose their hair, and Mickey Poole was in a cage at ringside, so he could not interfere. But that was the main event back on Labor Day of 1982?
77.
This is 1977, yes.
1977.
For sure. And let me look for this card. And
I was at that match for sure because that was one of the biggest summers ever. That was the year I graduated from high school, and me and several buddies of mine went to all of those matches where Lawler versus Dundee, and there must have been 3 or 4 in a row where people lost their hair. Mickey Poole lost his hair. Dundee lost his hair. Dundee's wife lost her hair. Maybe some more. I don't know, but it was just that was one of the best sequences of events at the Coliseum that I can recall.
And
people
Jerry
must
Lawler,
like watching people get their hair cut.
absolutely. Greg White, absolutely. Lawler won. Bill Dundee lost his hair, and as Rusty said the week before, we had Mickey Poole losing his hair, and the week after we had Beverly Dundee. Now this one, I want Michael St. John to put your seatbelt on. I want you to be thinking the Brahm Center and good old Huntsville, just a stone throw away from where you are now in Arab, Alabama. This will be a card we will take. Next to last card we are going to do, and we need to run right through it. 45-31. We got a great Power Pro show coming up. 45-31. Huntsville, Alabama. 45-31. And good luck on reading this card, Michael St. John. If not, I got them on my notes.
Well, let's see. This is now Goulas Pro Wrestling at the Von Braun Center, and a super card coming your way. In the opening match, it is, oh boy. So let's see what we got here. Bobby Eaton against David Schultz.
What a match that is.
Well, that's a hell of a way to kick it off. You come out with your come out with it hard. Then you got Dennis Hall against Leapin' Lanny Poffo. This is when the Poffos were working for Nick. Ed George against Angelo Poffo. Big Red, 300 pounds of him against Frank Stanley.
400 pounds, I think.
He said, well, does that say 3? I guess that says 380. Okay.
Okay.
Big Red against
He
Frank
was a big
Stanley.
dude.
Yeah, he was a big dude. Big tag battle, Cowboy Frankie Lane and Luis Arriba Martinez. Arriba against Don Dent. That's Don Kent, I think, and Gypsy Joe. I don't think there was a Don Dent. Then you can see the 8th wonder of the world battle, one of the world's top ranked heavyweights, Abdullah the Butcher against Andre the Giant. That had to have been a bloody mess. And the main event, even a bloodier mess. A grudge battle. Country boy Haystack Calhoun, 550 pounds, was the special referee. I think he could get in the ring. The question is, could he get around in it? Because in the ring was the Sheik and the fabulous Jackie Fargo. But on top of that was a wild 15-man over-the-top rope Wrestle Royal. That's what they used to call them, folks. The winner to receive $5,000. Two of the world's largest wrestlers, Haystack Calhoun at 850 against the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, at 480 pounds. My God, 550, I think is at 850. 550 against Andre the Giant at 480. I bet you they had to prop up the ring after all that. Can you imagine those two in the ring and 13 others, and whether the ring would stand it? Back in those days, those weren't well-built rings,
No.
I don't think.
No.
Especially the ones
and
that-
Big Red was there, and Abdullah the Butcher was there. They were both 300 pounds plus.
Oh, yeah. And
David?
those, Nick was doing some work, I believe, back then, if I'm not mistaken. He was doing a little talent share with Ann Gunkel. And I think at that point in time, Haystacks and Abdullah and all were on the Gunkel TV show. They weren't on Georgia Championship Wrestling.
And the Sheik, of course, from the Michigan Detroit territory. The Pavos had wrestled for Nick and also had wrestled there in Michigan as well. And Ed George, who wrestled Angelo Pafo, I don't know if you know this, Michael, Ed George is the Sheik's son.
It was the Sheik's son, yeah. The Sheik's son, yeah.
Very interesting card. And do you have any memories of that? What were you doing September the 5th, 1979, Michael?
I was running Kicks 104, and I was working for Nick. So there was a good chance. I don't remember being at that match, so we didn't tape it or do anything special down here for it. But I remember those people being in matches that we had all over the territory, and I remember reading those cards. I do not remember Abdullah the Butcher making a shot in Nashville, though. I do remember Haystacks coming. I remember, of course, Andre being there. In fact, I think that was the run where my son had his picture taken with Andre holding him as a 4-year-old. And but I remember Ed George, of course, and the Sheik and Haystack. Like I said, Haystacks. But I do not remember Abdullah making that shot. I'm sure he made the Chattanooga shot because it was just a stone's throw from Atlanta.
This Huntsville card, Bo James is asking, September the 5th, 1979. We got a Power Pro show to do. We'll do that in a few minutes. Again, Bo, September the 5th, 1979. This card, the last card of the week we'll do today is the last card that Nick Goulas promoted before selling to Jerry Jarrett of Nashville. This is the last Nashville Jerry Jarrett or Nick Goulas card. This is 2 years after the split. This is September the 3rd in Nashville, Tennessee. It's 45-25. 45-25. This is an interesting card that we'll let Michael see if he has any memories of being there.
Absolutely.
September the 3rd, 1980, Nick Goulas' last card. Here's Michael Stant. John!
I remember this. And by the way, Jerry Jarrett was at the arena that night. He was in the back with the boys, and it was well known that it was happening. Tom Ernesto's son, against Greg Holiday to open it up. That was a light heavyweight tournament match, and the matches, it was a mock, not a match, but it says on this. By the way, Nick still had Strong TV at Channel 5 from 2 to 3 on Saturday and Channel 17 from 5 to 6 on Saturday, which really kept him going for the 2 years after Jerry broke off. Ken Lucas and Ricky Morton teaming together against Mike Miller and Terry Sawyer. Handsome Jimmy this is Luscious Johnny Valiant against Roger Howell. That was a very unique match. The Manchurians, this was the first time I ever met Sputnik Monroe. The Manchurians with Sputnik Monroe in their corner against Dickie Steinborn and Lefty Powell. Dickie was actually booking for Nick at this point. He had taken the book maybe a month before, and he was actually booking for Nick. Dutch Mantell in action against Bobby Eaton, and I believe at this point in time, Dutch was working for Jerry, so some of Jerry's talent was in on this show, and I think Johnny Valiant was as well. And then the main event for the NWA Mid-America Tag Team Championship, Larry Latham and Wayne Ferris with Sergeant Danny Davis against Robert Gibson and his partner for the match, Donnie Fargo. So that was a big send-off card. I want to say it drew maybe 1,200, 1,500 people at the fairgrounds, maybe on a Wednesday night, but I do remember the card very specifically. Ken Lucas, I always had a lot of respect for. I always thought he was one of the premier wrestlers that ever worked for Nick.
Since you brought it up, Michael, we'll let you answer this from RP. Said, how did the NWA feel about one of their territories working with Ann Gunkels All South? And I will say that at that point, since before Nick was the biggest promoter of the NWA, of any NWA promoter, but when Jerry Jarrett split from him, most of the NWA promoters went with Jerry Jarrett. So how did the NWA feel about one of their territories working with Al Gunkel? I have no idea.
With Ray and Ann.
Speculate.
Well, with Ray and Ann Gunkel, they were sort of in the same boat Nick was in at this point in time, because the Georgia group, I guess Barnett was running it then, and they were on Channel 17, the super station. They were on all the cable systems in America, and they were starting to make their stars national stars at that point. And so Ann and Ray, I think, had died at that point, and Ann was working it as running and trying to stay alive. She had Thunderbolt Patterson. She had one of my least favorite people of all time as the announcer, who wasn't worth the drizzling shits, and Freddie God, I don't even think of his name. Freddie Miller.
Don't miss it. Be there.
Be there. That's the only reason she kept him. And Nick was, having to fight to survive. There were a few promoters that would still work with Nick on talent and helping him out. And believe it or not, besides Ann Gunkel was the WWF with Dad. I mean, he would with
Vince Sr.
Vince Sr. I was trying to scrape that name up with Vince Sr. because he and Nick were talking a lot, and Nick was still bringing Andre in, and and he stuck with him for most of the time. There was another promoter that was working with Nick out of Houston, because George went down and worked Houston for about 6 weeks, and there was some Houston talent up here with us. And in fact, I think that's where Dr. Tom Pritchard first came, that I first met him. And that was in Houston. Help me up with the promoter, Randy. Paul Bosch. Paul and Nick were still friends. Senior was still friends with Nick and Ann Gunkel. But other than that, I think you're right. Just about everybody else, including Sam Munchnick, had gone in Jerry's corner, and the handwriting was on the wall that Jerry had. He had Lawler, he had the Stars, he had Memphis, he was selling out houses, and the handwriting was on the wall, and everybody, I think, jumped in his corner very quickly. And of course, one of the promoters that really helped him out from the start was Eddie Graham.
No doubt about it. All right. If we can
that was interesting, Michael, that you mentioned about the TV in Nashville. I didn't realize that, because Nick had already quit running Memphis.
Right. He lost
weeks after the split, because
right.
He just fell off. So he lasted in Nashville considerably longer, and it was because he had TV there.
And Chattanooga and the entire
and Birmingham.
Absolutely. All right, if we could go full screen to me, as we're going to go to the feature part of this show. Now, let me do a history. Let me tell you what's going on. We'll go way back, and we'll make this quick. We'll go way back, and I'll tell you that Mid-South Coliseum started promoting wrestling with Nick Gulas, with Jerry Jarrett booking in 1971. Wrestling also in the 70s, Louisville, Evansville, Lexington, and the territory was popping. I came around in the 80s, and then around 93, I was back again. 94, started booking, and then all hell broke loose in a bad way as the company was sold to an investment group in Cleveland, Ohio, led by Larry Burton. It ended up going out of business, and what the wrestling company was called then, the USWA, went out of business. Boom. Doing a quick little deal. Boom. It was gone. I had quit. Dave Brown had quit. I had quit before I knew what would happen. The TV station would be hot at how the new people would be running the company. So Dave and I got out. They got canceled. It went away. First, it went from 11 o'clock in the morning to midnight. All pre-taped, all kinds of stuff went away. And then in April of 1998, because I had a good reputation and a good working relationship with TV5, we started Power Pro Wrestling in April of 98. Now, this is show number 14. This is from July the 18th, 2018, and we can get everybody back on the screen right now before we quickly go to the video. We're going to show that our show so everybody knows exactly how we formatted the show. I want you to watch this, and because Adam and I was talking about this last night, this show, because it was for Memphis only, wasn't a 90-minute infomercial. This, my main source of income is TV money and WWF money eventually. So it was a whole different ball of wax, and it made for what I think is great television and a different type of television. And remember, this wasn't your grandpa's wrestling anymore, Michael, because the people could watch WCW and watch the WWF and watch all the wrestling. And I knew that I had to have a fine line of balancing it with what people were used to. And I had to attract those millions and millions and millions of fans that was watching current wrestling, because WWF and WCW was hot. So it was a fine line. So it's a different look and a different product. Now, the setup for this show, Michael, you've been watching the last few weeks. Now you're going to get the opportunity to watch the entire show. It's without commercials. It's about 46 minutes. Setup, does it make sense? Is there any more to Power Pro Wrestling and this show from July the 18th of 1998? Anything else you'd like to say about the setup or anything you're looking forward to on this show?
Well, first of all, I think it took a lot of guts to do this at the period of time you did it. And you were successful doing it, which means to me that you knew what you were doing and continue to know what you're doing. So with that being said, let's get into the product, because the product was exemplary for a fact of you had to work with talent that was not in the WWE, but was as important to wrestling fans in the Memphis market as the WWE stars were, if not bigger.
The WWE had not started their developmental deal. That would happen in a few months. Before we hit this, any very quick thoughts of what you expect out of this 1 hour long show?
I expect action and surprises.
Yeah, I was not there at the time, so I didn't see it initially, but I went back and watched it. And now it makes sense, because I realized when I went back and saw this is way different from, wrestling under Jerry Jarrett in the 1970s and 80s. And now your explanation tells me why it was different. So you were doing it purely as a TV product rather than an infomercial to sell seats at the arenas.
And remember, I booked Memphis, the USWA, 94, 95, and 96, the last run, and the record, very good business with Smoky Mountain and USWA. We're going to watch that video now. This is an Adam Dunn suggested idea, and if it fall on his ass, Adam's number is BR9567. BR9567 for Adam Dunn to register your complaints. But you will love this show. This is great. I want all the fan base. I want Matt. I want RP. I want Bo James, who's on this show. I want everybody to enjoy show 14 of Power Pro Wrestling, and we started this way.
The door is obviously locked. Randy is not about to let him in there. Waller. Whoa! Oh, my goodness. Randy, let's see him in the front seat there.
let's pause that, Adam, real quick. We won't do this through the whole show. It was a cold opening, Michael, with the recap from the week before, and I did that a lot. And then the opening theme, your thoughts?
Great way to get attention right away, without a doubt. That is going in hot and coming in hot. That's a great way to do it. In that collage of wrestlers, did I see Jeff Jarrett? Was he at any point with you, Randy?
He wrestled the first Mid-South Coliseum show that had was fixing to come up. As Mike says, Randy, we were going into the Coliseum that Tuesday for the second Power Pro Wrestling show at the Mid-South Coliseum as we continue to show with show number 14.
Everybody, Dave Brown and Corey Macklin here at ringside. We're ready to go with Power Pro Wrestling on the Power Hour. One of the biggest shows, one of the most important Power Pro shows that we have had since we've been in existence here.
Michael, do you notice that I moved the set? Completely different look.
Absolutely.
I was going to mention that. Was this the same space at Channel 5 as the previous one had been?
No.
Yeah,
The studio was. The studio was.
Oh, okay.
The desk is different.
You put it against a different wall.
Yeah.
And the wrestlers actually came out from your right instead of out from an angle in front of you.
Congratulations to you. We've sort of come to expect the unexpected around here. That thing last week with the windshield and Lawler and Randy, man, what a shock that was.
Yeah, it was huge. And hey, today we're going to recap the Lawler and Randy.
Michael, the roll-up door is behind the desk.
And hey, Dave, the big confrontation that happened after WWF Raw this past week.
Yeah.
Never seen before video. No one's ever seen this before. We haven't seen it. We've heard about it.
Heard about it, yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Happened after Raw.
After Raw this past Monday night, major sneak attack that took place. We'll have more on that later on. Also understand from Stacy, we didn't talk to Jerry, but Stacy says that the King, Jerry Lawler, will be here today.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, Thomas, that was my car, and it was a Chrysler New York.
I'll tell you more about the Malice in the Palace, the big, huge show coming up the Mid-South.
Did you trade it after that?
No.
New windshield.
Yes, for sure.
The Birdman, Coco Beware, coming up as well.
And tag teams are going to be here that are involved in the tag team tournament.
Used to, Michael, if you remember the way that we formatted the Memphis show is we would do an opening for 2 minutes and go for the break.
Right.
Period.
And then come to the first match.
Listen up. About 3 months ago, I told each and every one of you marks that I was going to get myself over.
Listen to this interview.
I was going to do it in a wicked way.
Wrestling terms.
Well, last week, unfortunately, I suffered my first defeat at the hands of Brian Christopher. And
Buddy Wayne was ready to kick Tony Williams, who is Sid Wicked's ass, but I said, anybody come to you, tell them to come to me. I authorized everything you said. I wanted what I had Dave and Corey say at the beginning, expect the unexpected. From very early on, that was my booking philosophy for Power Pro, expect the unexpected.
Derek King hasn't proven himself enough, I guess, in the Young Guns division to team with Kid Wicked.
Yeah.
But they are teamed, in fact, in this tag team match.
And here are their opponents, one half.
Michael, what a match this is. There's Samantha, Donna Shepard, Superstar Bill Dundee, Rock and Roll Express member Robert Gibson against Kid Wicked and Derek King. Michael.
It'll
be a good match.
Now, was Samantha married to Bill Dundee at this time?
Hey, big main event. We talked about it earlier.
Yes.
Brian Christopher, Coco
I was trying to get the timetable, but the answer is yes.
Now, the hard camera, Randy, is still where the hard camera used to be, correct?
We'll let Michael or Adam confirm that, and he says yes, it is.
Okay, because the shot is toward the desk. Because the hard camera, when we were sitting over here in this corner on the far left of the screen, when we were sitting in that corner, the hard camera was exactly to our right.
He's with a new family, but Rick assures us he will be here for the Malice in the Palace event.
Remember, it was on the platform, the hard camera. For Power Pro.
And that's the hard camera shot right there.
Yes.
Do you like that look, Adam, or Michael? You saw the Power Pro banner. You see?
Oh, that's a cool shot right there.
Yeah, that's from up in the control room.
Pick up those tickets for Tuesday night. Malice in the Palace at the Coliseum.
I was looking at Derek King, how young he was, but how talented he was.
Adam, feel free to come on audio-wise, as you have big passion on Power Pro Wrestling, so anytime you want to join us, you can.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
I'm just going to sit back and watch.
In a few minutes, Randy Hales has told me that he will have a statement.
Let's just go ahead and go full screen with this video. I'm going to go grab a drink, and we'll go full screen with the video, and we'll see how this plays out.
Superstar Bill Dundee whipped into the ropes by Kid Wicked with that short clothesline. Goes for a cover, 1 count, and Dundee kicks out of it. Dundee got a big match coming up this Tuesday night. Got Coco Ware and a dog collar match.
Yeah, they're going to have dog collars on chains, and they're going to be joined at the wrist, so the one can't run away from the other. They will be there in the ring, and we've seen that tight match before, and it turns out to be wild sometimes, especially with those two guys going at each other. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Slams them right into each other, Mr. Personalities and Kid Wicked. There goes Derek King, and there he goes again. Big body slam from Dundee and Gibson. Boy, they work together well here, Dave.
They sure do.
Two, three, he got it. Robert
Yeah, Reese, I agree with that. That you can. It was very cool that you could see the ring and the desk and the announcers from the hard camera shot.
There as they get the victory, and Kid Wicked doesn't seem to be happy with Mr. Personalities. He had not been happy to have him as his partner.
Fast-paced match and a little extra as we have dissension between Derek King and more dissension.
Kid Wicked dives off the canvas, slams Derek King on a reverse neck breaker. Oh my goodness!
Here's
on the concrete floor. Here comes Bruno and the referees all out, and we'll try to.
Downtown Bruno, he's chief referee.
Yeah, we'll get that separated.
Absolutely.
I promised you that Randy Hales told me he had a statement. Randy says he's not coming down to the studio after what happened last week with Lawler, and knowing that Lawler is due here sometime today. So let's go up to the control room for Randy's statement right now. Randy?
For everybody that has followed Jerry Lawler's career throughout the years, I come before you as the founder, owner, and president of Power Pro Wrestling to offer my sympathy to the fans. The end of a successful era with the end of the career of Jerry Lawler. After we come back from this break, we will show you a videotape from last week after Monday Night Raw when Jerry Lawler's career was finished forever. Being the nice guy that I am, I've allowed Jerry Lawler the opportunity to come to this television station today to say his final goodbyes to the few fans that he has left. We'll be back after this break to see that videotape and to hear from Jerry Lawler.
WMC TV5 is interested in your views and opinions. In our efforts to serve the community, we regularly schedule educational and instructional programming for children. Reports showing
National Mortgage today.
Hey, don't forget about the big Rumble on the Ridge in Jonesboro tonight. JC's are sponsoring at the Northeast Arkansas District Fairgrounds over there. That's tonight.
Jonesboro, yeah.
Tonight, Jonesboro, Arkansas. We want to show you something that happened earlier this week, WWF Raw. It was backstage. Nobody has seen this before, including Corey and me. Let's just take a look at it. Apparently, Jim Cornette was enlisted somehow to help with this whole thing, but let's take a look at it and we'll comment in a minute.
Come on, Cornette, we're on a schedule. Are we shooting anything or not?
Just hold on 1 second. Just hold on. Please hold on. Have patience, Terry. Have patience. Hold on. I'll tell you just in a second. Hey, he's coming. He's coming. Shoot this. Shoot this right now. Shoot this right now. Not too close to me, though. I want evidence on this. Hey, Lawler, I got to ask you a question. What do you think you're pulling down there in Memphis? I told you somebody was going to get even with you for what you did to Kane and what you did to me. Now you baseball batted Randy Hales' car. They're going to put you away. You're a criminal.
What are you doing? You like doing an interview here for TV?
I have a camera here because I want to make sure you don't assault me, and I have to sue you because they're going to put you away sooner or later, big king of Memphis.
Is that right? How about if I put you away for me?
Now, wait a minute. Hold up. Film that fire.
That's the Giant King there.
Boy. Set up by Cornette is what happened on that thing,
No
Dave.
doubt, and Randy had to have that put together there. I'm really disappointed in Randy for
Isn't that something?
being a part of
You got
that.
to get out of the way, Missy. You're going to get hurt.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy. Lawler caught between the wall and that door. There's one of the directors of WWF Raw, Dave.
That's
she's there.
Absolutely an uncalled for situation right there. And Randy, that Giant King. Well, the match is coming up Tuesday night at the Madison. That's already booked. Lawler's here, I understand. Do we have the parking lot camera set up? Yeah, there. What is it?
There's
It's Stacy with him getting out of the car. He's got a neck brace on it. Oh, what is this? My goodness gracious.
What in the world?
And his arm's in a cast? Oh, my. Well, I haven't seen Lawler since last week with a windshield breaking incident, and all of a sudden, he had to do Raw on Monday night.
Randy, was that the guy who was Lawler's driver for so many years?
But we just saw that with you for the first time, the videotape of it with Cornette and the Giant King that Randy introduced at Rumble on the River down on July 4th. They're bringing him this way, and maybe we can make way to get him on into the studio here and get a comment or two from Jerry and Stacy about the situation. I got a feeling he is not going to be a happy man at all when he comes through those doors right now.
I tell you, we get the no wonder for Tuesday night, and I don't know. I hope Jerry can.
Well,
how he can make it looking like.
So we have different threads that's going on through the show, and this is our early thread.
We're friends, but no wonder you locked yourself in the booth after this right here. Still trying to get Jerry this way. Sort of difficult.
Lost the camera.
Have him in the wheelchair, but he's nearby. So okay. They tell me that he's very close to a studio right now. Here they go. They're bringing him in. Let me come around here and talk to him for just a minute. There he comes. Okay. Well, this is it's a disgusting sight after seeing what we saw, Jerry and Stacy. We just saw the videotape of what happened after Raw the other night.
Well, I mean, that you say that's a disgusting sight. Well, I want to tell you that this right here to me is an embarrassing sight. I'm at a loss for words as far as the situation with Randy Hales. Why Randy Hales doesn't want me to be a part of Power Pro Wrestling was beyond me. I don't know why Randy Hales had to go out and find this 7-foot 4-inch freak and crown him as the new king of Memphis is something that I don't understand. But now, Randy Hales, I guess you've accomplished your goal. I guess you're going to go ahead on Tuesday night and have your new king of wrestling and the biggest smile on your face down there with your new company, Power Pro Wrestling. And
here's Randy. Randy?
This is just pitiful.
Yes, it is. I agree.
And it's all your fault. I don't feel sorry for you, Jerry Lawler, and I don't feel sorry for Stacy, because what the whole thing is, Lawler, that you should have realized your time is up. You should have realized when I crowned the new giant. You should have looked at him, 7 foot tall, and no, you didn't have a chance, but you were sitting at your house on Walnut Grove Road, Lawler, and your ego is so huge, you came in and you busted the most important TV show that I ever done in my life, and now you tried last week, you busted my windshield, and so you paid. I don't feel sorry for you. If you'd have gone out the way you should have gone out, if you should have just called it quit when it was time to call it quit, that would have been out. And now I feel sorry for the people that supported you for the years, because now you're a joke. You're a joke in that thing. So I gave you the opportunity to be here. Now, get out of my studio. Get out of my studio. That's
Randy,
enough from you.
Randy,
Okay, Randy. Are you real proud of yourself right now? I mean, do you feel like you've accomplished everything you set out to do? Well, I'm just doing what I think I have to do, and you not being a part of Power Pro Wrestling is the best thing for this company. It's the best thing for this company, and you could have just gone out, but it's your fault. It's not my fault. It's not this fault. I gave you the opportunity to say, will you say goodbye to your fans and then get out of the studio? I got important stuff to do here, and I got to go back to the booth. Okay, so now you think that you have a new king for Power Pro Wrestling, right? 7 foot tall. 7 foot tall. The most awesome wrestling.
Lawler's the greatest wrestling talent I've ever
And
seen.
you think that by
Agreed.
making that telephone call to
He
Jim
should have
Cornette and
done
having
more
that big
movies.
dude jump me
He's a
up in New York,
fabulous
you think
actor.
that
Yes.
pissed me off, right? You started it. You broke the windshield. You could have killed me with the bat, man. Well, you know what? You got it wrong, Randy. I didn't start it. You started it by trying to crown a new king. But I'm going to tell you something. No, you started it. But you know what, Randy? I'm going to finish it. Because, look, you know what? There's an old saying. You can't keep a good king down. And I want to show you a little something, Randy. Look at this. Oh, goodness. Wait a minute, Randy Hales. That's not a real cast, is it, Randy Hales?
look out. He's got him, rolls him in the ring. Oh.
RH is in trouble now.
He's going to lose his
He's
clothes.
going to need a new coat. Uh-oh. Buttons are flying off his shirt.
Oh, my goodness. Remember, this is television, guys. Oh.
Yeah, be careful there.
Oh, boy.
But I tell you what,
Randy's almost up for it, Dave. With all of this, oh, my goodness. Oh.
Lawler's trying to get him. Well, he's got him stripped down to the boxer shorts there. And please, King, that's far enough.
You should have gimmicked your shoes.
Boy, Jerry, the fans say. The King with a little misdirection here for Mr. Hales. Takes control of the situation, and somehow we were wondering, my goodness, is this the way it's going to end? What about Tuesday night? But I guess you pretty much answered that question.
I'm going to tell you something. It ain't over, but Tuesday night it is going to be over. Tuesday night, the world will realize there is only one king of Memphis, and I am him. And Randy Hales, the other piece of unfinished business is I'm going to save this chair till Tuesday night, and I swear to God you'll leave the Mid-South Coliseum in this chair. I promise you that.
Tuesday night at Malice in the Palace, the King will be there. He'll be going against that Giant King, the big, huge guy. You saw him on the videotape a little bit earlier. Let's take us a break here, fans, and regroup. We'll be back. There's lots more of the Power Hour to go. Don't go away.
Jerry wasn't going to let that neck brace get away. You probably paid at least $5 for it, and you know how Jerry is about spending money.
Well, that came out of my pocket.
Oh, did it? Oh. That was a good segment, Randy. Very good segment.
Absolutely good segment.
Are you ready, Memphis?
Watch this.
Pro Wrestling is back at the Mid-South Coliseum Tuesday night, July 21st. It's Malice in the Palace. See who the true king of Memphis is when Jerry Lawler faces the 7'4" giant king. For the first time ever at the Coliseum, see the WWF Intercontinental Championship defended when Too Sexy Brian Christopher challenges Rocky Maivia. See the crowning of the first Power Pro Tag Champion when 4 top teams meet in a round-robin tournament. Don't miss the excitement. It's Malice in the Palace. Tuesday, July 21st at the Mid.
That was Jeff Jarrett knocking Brandon out.
Man, it's going to be a big night.
So let's pause that real quick, and we're not going to go away for long. But Michael, remember we used to have the one shot on the announcer running the whole card. Now we've come up in the world. That was the one point to ask what you thought about the video hype for the card. The other thing I wanted to say the whole segment of me and Lawler on the format, it said set. Interview Lawler in wheelchair, parenthesis, out RH. That's it. People says, how do you remember that much stuff? Not one word from either person, Jerry Lawler or me or Dave Brown, was scripted. Your comments on the piece of video that we've seen so far, especially that video for the Malice in the Palace.
Well, first of all, that whole little segment sold tickets. Let's put it at the bottom line. It sold tickets. And the thing about not having a full script, I mean, I've got a few of the formats left from back in the day, and they were a page, and the page wasn't even filled up. It was a mad. There's and thanks, Bo James sent this out to me earlier, and just to see that, I mean, you did a great job of that's even more technically formatted than what we had on the Memphis show, as you know, on Channel 5, because it was just a one-sheeter, and half the time it was handwritten and mimeographed or copied. So there was a margin. I made notes in the margin. Get this over. It's going to go so many minutes, whatever the case may be. But this is technically perfect, but it's still not. Joe Tessitore, the voice of college football, is on Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And he has got a binder, and I don't have one that thick around me, but he has a binder that thick with the tabs on it of each match and each segment that he's turning over and reading and is reading and is reading. Well, they've got 1,000 writers, so why not utilize them and let them write the scripts? But they can't come up with anything as compelling on camera as what we just saw.
That's one real quick. Let's put that video back on, because Michael obviously has seen a format. This is a Power Pro format, and if there's any way, Adam, if we could get that format back open, because as you see on the left column, as you're looking at this, William, is the segment time. On the right is the total running time. As you see, SOT means sound on tape. That's a video with sound on it. And it says end of July 11th TV windshield breaking. And then the opening theme. And then live open Dave Brown and Corey Macklin. Then the ring. Then control room interview Randy Hills. Then we go to the break, and at the end of the break, we're 10 minutes 35 seconds in to the show, and at the end of the show, and giving away what we'll see in a few minutes, segment 7, 4 minutes 45 seconds on, set interview Randy Hills, show close, hype, the Malice in the Palace, and the out time was 57 minutes and 55 seconds. That is a format, Michael. Explain the difference in a format than a script, because this certainly is not a script that most wrestling fans think you have a script. This is all the talent saw, period.
A format is a rundown of when, where, and how things are going to happen. A script is when things are written out, as in everything you're going to say and how you're going to say it, and with what inflection you're going to say it, and with what emphasis you're going to put on it. Whereas you allowed your announcers, who are professionals, to create the script, quote unquote, although it was never written down, it was created verbally on the air to match what was going on the format in the segments. Bottom line, it's the way that TV did it back in the day for days and days and days and years and years and years.
So
you're giving creative control in a way to these two guys.
Right.
But they know what you want to sell and get over without you having to write every word they're going to say in a segment.
And I'm in their ear, but I don't talk much. Now, seeing a wrestling format for the first time, was that interesting to you, Doc?
Oh, absolutely. I remember being fascinated when I first started to figure out how wrestling really worked, to know that there was a format, but there was not a script. I mean, that just didn't compute. I'd done some theater before where we had scripts, and this sort of seemed like that to me. But so it just fascinated me that these guys could run on a direction of, a single line and take a segment that would go on for 10 minutes or so. Just amazing.
We'll return to show number 14, Power Pro Wrestling.
If you miss by any chance the blast off in the dome, you want to make sure you're there Tuesday night in your seat at 7:30.
And Rocky Maivia coming in here.
Oh, the Rock.
A lot of you fans know, some don't. Rocky Johnson. Remember Rocky Johnson? Some of you old-timers, the Soul Man? Well, Rocky Maivia is his son. The Rock has come a long way. Intercontinental champion in the WWF. And he's going to be defending that against Brian Christopher Tuesday night.
Right here in Memphis.
At the Malice in the Palace. It's going to be a big one. Let me tell you, you saw the list of the matches right there just a moment ago. I want to say that when they asked me to be part of Power Pro Wrestling, I said, yeah, it sounds like it's going to be good, but I hope we can do it right. Well, Power Pro says we want it to be family-oriented. We want it to be okay for families to come out to the Coliseum, have a great night, and we want it to be more than just run-of-the-mill. Well, I think you can see here with the balloons, there are fireworks, there was all kinds of entertainment going on at the blast-off on the Dome, and more is promised for Malice in the Palace. Tuesday night, 7:30, Mid-South Coliseum. I don't want to drag this out for the whole hour, but I was impressed, and I think you will be too. We'll see you at the Coliseum Tuesday night.
Big sponsors for Tuesday night. Cadillac of Memphis, Dixie Queen sponsoring this thing, and there are 12 huge matches coming up Tuesday night at the Malice in the Palace.
Hey, we've got some action coming up right here on the Power Hour today, here on TV5, Power Pro Wrestling. And in this one, we're going to be seeing tag team action. Here comes the man with a guitar, talking about Billy Joe Travis, sweet music man he calls himself. Bulldog Reigns' his partner. This is a pretty impressive tag team. I've seen them work, and anytime that little guitar is around, that's an added problem for opponents. Yeah. Well, Travis not too impressed with my complaint about the guitar being here. I'd much rather see that out of the area. They are going to be going against a couple of guys from the Young Guns division who have really looked mighty good. Talking about Lance Jade and his partner from down under, Ashley Hudson. They head in here against a couple of big, tough veterans in Bulldog Reigns and Billy Joe Travis. Wow, over the top rope goes Lance Jade. Looks like they're ready to go. We wait for the signal.
Randy, did either two of these guys go anywhere in the business?
Ashley Hudson was a protege of Bill Dundee. He was from Australia. He had USWA runs and Power Pro runs. Lance Jade had a run in Power Pro, but to go from the national promotion, he did not.
I'm really concerned about Randy and the stuff that he's pulling with Jerry on this. I really am.
All right. What? I'm sorry, man. Randy is telling me in my ear. Randy is demanding that we go to him right now. So let's do it. Stay with the match. All right, Randy, it's yours. Okay, it's yours. Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, let me tell you something. Everybody, Jerry Lawler, did you think that was funny? Was that funny to you? Well, let me tell you something. A little later, I got to find something additional to wear some clothes, and I'll come back down there. Jerry Lawler, I've been around a long time. I know a lot of things about you. I'm going to expose the real Jerry Lawler, the whole story about Jerry Lawler, about your wrestling career, and about your personal life. I'm going to expose Jerry Lawler later on. I get some clothes. I'm saying, go back to the ring.
Well, oh boy.
Oh, that was great with just the tie around your neck still.
We're back into action here, Randy, and I got to tell you, and I know Randy's listening up there, I am dismayed at the way this thing has turned out. Yeah. Randy has been a friend of mine for years. I've known Lawler for many, many years. And to have it come down to this, I mean, I'm sitting here wondering, you know, this has got to stop. It's got to end. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the point that it has, but I think it has given Lawler some great determination.
Boy, watch this guy throw punches. This guy was one of the truly underrated stars. He had issues personally that held him back, and I think it's a travesty that Billy Travis, not Randy Travis, but Billy Travis didn't make it so big in either the WCW or the WWE. He had all the talent, all the makings, could cut a promo. It's just a shame he didn't go further.
And Bo is saying that he loved sharing the ring with all four of these guys, and Ashley was in WCW for a little bit, and that's Ashley.
Every time you see that thing come in here, you cringe. Yep.
And that is a screw on the baby faces right there.
Brian Christopher coming up later on.
Star or visit your authorized Prime Star retailer.
Back on the Power Hour Tuesday night, Malice in the Palace. Get ready for it. Today, 12:30 until 1:30, the King, Jerry Lawler, will be at 60 Queen Mount Moriah today at 12:30. Brandon Baxter.
He's doing a Japanese gimmick here.
I'm out here for a reason today. I'm out here to do something that I normally don't do. As a matter of fact, it's something that I've never done. I am here today to issue a public apology to Randy Hales. Randy Hales, I judged you all wrong. It seems that you are on the up and up, and what Jerry Lawler and Stacey have done to you is typical American fashion. It is disgusting, and it is downright wrong. That's America. That's the reason that I have disowned America. That's the reason I am disowning America right here today and pledging my citizenship of Japan. The man next to me is the very first member of a huge stable I'm putting together. He is the biggest, he is the baddest, and he is the smartest athlete from another land, Heinrich Franz.
Unfortunately, he has passed away, no longer with us.
The Germans are very smart.
A protege of Bill Dundee in real life.
German chocolate cake looks more German than this guy does.
You know, Cody, you Americans, you cannot even speak one language right. But I speak 3 languages.
You won't speak them today. We've got a
Nice comment by Corey. I like that.
Closing Tuesday night at the Mid-South Coliseum, the Malice in the Palace. Street, it's you and Keller. And all wars start for a reason, and you've started this war. I promise you that you may be a big, bad, tough man from the streets, but on the streets you never met a man like this. And Creighton Armour, you big TV executive, if you have any guts in your body, come down to the Coliseum Tuesday night, stand in the corner of Street, and we will bury you under the German flag.
Deutschland ist über alles.
Well, we'll see. This is Heinrich Franz Keller, Dave. He's something.
Well, he's big.
Under the mask here, Michael, do you know who this is? The Yellow Jacket?
Is it Bo James?
I know, but Bo's never been that little in his life.
Oh, who's a little go? Yeah, I didn't get that how small he was.
Kevin Lawler.
Oh, you're kidding.
Out in the Japanese attire today, running down America. Boy, he makes a ton of people mad every time he does that, including me.
Got that right. Heinrich Franz Keller slams the Yellow Jacket.
He certainly makes Von Keller look Von bigger.
This Franz Keller, Dave,
Absolutely.
over 260 pounds. Big dude, let me tell you. Look at that.
Ooh.
Power slam. Hooks the leg. That's going to do it.
You're right. That's it. Count of 3. It is over. Just overpowering is Hans von Keller. Heinrich Franz Keller here today. I get his name right.
Yeah, I couldn't see Yellow Jacket getting up from that one.
No, you're right. What is this? Boy. Baxter nails him from behind. Well, we're going to be back in just a moment with more of the Power Hour. Brian Christopher goes against Coco Beware a little later.
You know what? This story is being told in wrestling and in interviews, but nothing like what you're seeing on TV now, where you get 25 minutes versus talk versus a 3-minute match. You're actually seeing matches that tell the story.
Today, because his opponent is going to be Streak. Streak has been on a rampage. I think that's a pretty good word for it over the last several weeks. For a while, we didn't know who was grabbing people in the dressing room and painting them.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Got a mean streak in it.
Yeah, we found
Spellbinder looks impressive.
It does.
Yeah, he does.
Really ripped.
He was one of the true stars last year at the Memphis Hall of Fame program in Jackson. He was really came over. A lot of people really came up to him.
Idiot run his mouth about the United States of America. You know, it makes me laugh. You know something? Why don't you get on a plane and take that fat German with you? We don't need you here, do we? And you want to issue a challenge to me? I started this war? My friend, you don't even know what it is to be in the street. You think you can survive in the street? When I'm done with you and that fat German, I'm going to paint you red, white, and blue all over again.
He's done it once. He can do it again. Streak heads for the ring, and
there's Bo coming on hot.
Yeah, Bo James jumps him as he steps up on the canvas there. Streak! Uh-oh, he's got Bo James. Takes him down. Oh, is this
And Bo's done.
He's over immediately.
About what, 30 seconds, 25 seconds?
Bo lasted longer last Wednesday night in Coffee County than he did in that match, Randy.
Him and Doug Gilbert got them a win, right?
They did, and looked good doing it.
Down the back of Bo James.
We were calling Spellbinder the straight men, and he would paint streaks on the back. Here comes Dundee and Samantha again, and this is short and sweet, but I think the people watching this, man, I want to see them this week at the Coliseum. Watch this segment.
Before we get to that, we got a few places we're going to be. We're going to be where we're going to be. Tuesday night, the Malice in the Palace. Wednesday, we're going to be in Greenville. Thursday, the Lady Luck, and Friday, we're going to be where?
Covington, yeah.
Covington, yeah. All you nice folks in Covington, come see us. But today at 4 o'clock, we're going to be over at Carmart in Jonesboro. We're going to do a little personal appearance over there. Then we're going to go wrestle at the fairgrounds. Now, Coke will be with. That's a pretty dress you got on. Where'd you get that?
I got this dress from Miss Maryland at Miss Formula Highland and nice
Oh,
people
bless
out there.
your heart. All right.
Nice way of paying for that dress. Got that plug right in
I
there.
was going to say, quick plug there.
That's a trade out.
On the other end, because every time I look at you, you're running away.
Look out, here he comes. Coco, beware.
You stand right over there, Sammy. You know, and don't be...
Oh, everybody look out. Coco jumps him. He's got that chain around his throat, choking him, dragging him around the ring. Here come the referees. Yeah, let's give him some help here. We'll get this fixed, fans. We will. We still got Brian Christopher in here. He's going against Coco Beware. Maybe he gets some revenge in the main event. Don't go away.
You know, that segment didn't last that long, but I guess it got a hell of a lot of heat. And you don't see that anymore. Instant heat.
And it lasted 20 seconds.
Are you ready, Memphis? Power Pro Wrestling is back at the...
Do you like this video spot, Michael, instead of the way we used to do it?
Oh, absolutely. I think video with the action adds to any kind of verbalization.
The WWF Intercontinental Championship defended when two sexy Brian Christopher challenges Rocky Maivia. See the crowning of the first Power Pro Tag Champions when 4 top teams meet in a round-robin tournament. Don't miss the excitement. It's Malice in the Palace. Tuesday, July 21st at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Getting ready for it.
This commercial ran all week on Channel 5 throughout all the programs.
I want to remind you today, 12:30 to 1:30.
Was that part of your deal with them that they ran commercials during the week?
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Here's the Coliseum Tuesday night. Here's The Rock. I can't hear you here.
The Rock down like that. The Rock's the champ. He'll call the shot. Now The Rock's ready. Long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. I hear there's a punk named Brian, been talking bad about me. Hey, finally it's the part of the show that everybody's been waiting for. Everybody wants to see The Rock. Is The Rock coming to Memphis? Well, I'll tell you what, Memphis, Tennessee, The Rock is finally coming this Tuesday to the Mid-South Coliseum. And I'm taking on a punk named Brian Christopher. You know, Brian Christopher, The Rock hears things, of course, in this business, everybody does, on how you never lose in Memphis.
You never lose in Memphis. You've got all those Memphis rednecks in the back of your pocket, and that's all fine and dandy with The Rock. But make no mistake about it, Brian Christopher. The Rock is 6'5", custom made from head to toe, 275 pounds of man and a half. As you can see, he's got the diamond-studded Intercontinental title. He's got the Rolex on his wrist, and he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the man. Brian Christopher, you may be a big shot down there in Memphis Power Pro Wrestling or whatever it is, but The Rock is the Intercontinental Champion of the World Wrestling Federation, which means he is on top of that mountain. And if you think for one single solitary second, Brian Christopher, too sexy, that The Rock is going to come into your hometown and let you beat him, of course, with all the fans, all the too sexy fans down there, then as the old saying goes, brother, you got another thing coming. So the fact of the matter is this. Brian Christopher, The Rock, this Tuesday night, Mid-South Coliseum. The Rock is going to come into Memphis, take his big right hand, and you know what that means, Brian. Well, it doesn't mean what you want it to mean. He's going to lay the smackdown on you in a major way. He's going to walk out of Memphis still the Intercontinental champ, and as we all know, the best Intercontinental champion there ever was.
There's The Rock. Whoa, whoa. That sounded like he's got a major attitude, don't it? Big time, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Rock. I'm just the man to give you an attitude adjustment. And I plan on giving it to you this Tuesday night. Did you hear how he badmouthed Memphis, Tennessee?
Yeah, I heard all of that.
Corey Macklin, I promise you, everywhere I go around this country, everyone badmouths Memphis, Tennessee. They always ask me, Brian, why do you live in Memphis? Out of all the places you can live, why do you choose Memphis, Tennessee? Well, Rocky Maivia, I'm sure you're asking that same question. But I'm Memphis born and Memphis bred, and when I die, I'm going to be Memphis, Tennessee dead. Because I love this city, and this city needs a champion. So when you get to that Coliseum, I'm just a man. It's not that you're going to let me beat you. I'm going to beat you because I want to beat you. And I want to become the WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And all those people before, like you said, I don't lose in Memphis. That's right. I don't lose in Memphis. And I'm not going to lose Tuesday night because all these people are going to be there backing me, Rocky Maivia. And that belt is sure going to look good around this sexy waist. So you come on down there and bring that little Rolex and bring your diamond-studded belt because I'm going to walk out of that Coliseum with it around my waist. Did you smell what The Rock's cooking? I smell what The Rock's cooking. I smell what The Rock's cooking, and it's going to be brewing right down there Tuesday night, Rock. It's going to be a big meal, and that meal is you, and I'm going to be the one to eat you up all night long, boy.
Going to be a big match we're looking forward to. The World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental title will be on the line Tuesday night, Mid-South Coliseum.
That was a little eerie when you heard Brian say that about being Memphis dead, knowing what happened to him later.
Power Pro Wrestling at the Malice in the Palace.
And I gave him the line. I stole that line from Bob Armstrong back in the 70s. He used to say, Southern born, Southern bred. When I die, I'll be Southern dead.
Yeah, that's a mantra around these parts. It's so sad, and when I listen to Brian and I see Brian work, I'm not one to question Jerry Lawler, and I understand as a dad wanting Brian to blaze his own trail and not be compared to Jerry. But boy, what a combination Jerry and Brian Lawler would have been together. You know, so much that could have been done with that. And he really had the charisma.
Thursday night, Dave, back at the Lady Luck Casino at the Pavilion Entertainment Center there. And Friday night, Covington, Tennessee. Get ready at the Sportsplex in Covington this Friday night. Brian Christopher.
After this show ends, Michael, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to get some thoughts in your head. I want you to compare the format of the Power Pro shows to the format of the USWA and CWA shows.
Brian had a big hip toss, and Brian had a big win at the Blacktop in the Dome, defeating that D-Generation X Road.
Yep, Coco's going to his trunks.
So he is definitely on a roll. As a matter of fact, had he not gotten that win at Blast Off, I doubt that the Intercontinental title would have been signed for the Coliseum this week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that moved him up, I'm sure, to be a contender for that Intercontinental title. So you got the big giant.
You know, Coco, when he was in shape and kept himself in shape, was one of the best workers that I'd ever had the opportunity to work with. And he always, bless his heart, was battling with his weight. And as his weight went, his performance went. And still a tremendous worker. I mean, so much respect for that man.
Great wrestling talent, great human being. Always loved Coco.
But it did ring true. He said, I've been paired with 12 different partners who we have held championships. He said, mark my words, we're going after that.
I had a chance to call a match when he and Bobby Eaton teamed together, and you talk about a tag team that could go. Golly, Pete.
Christopher whips Coco in. Oh! Touches the Birdman and knocks him down with that big kick. Our television main event today on the Power Hour. Too Sexy Brian, Christopher, Coco Beware. Dave, we heard Randy Helms has got word coming up later on.
Yeah.
He's going to expose Jerry Lawler.
You know, I sort of wish Randy would just leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
There, but
he's got to at some point.
Yeah.
Look at this. Coco with that.
Ooh. The bird bump.
No, it's a nice move.
Well, no, Brian springs back.
Absolutely.
That's all that Coco needs to get a pin on an opponent. But Brian's still going. Whipped across the ring by Coco. He stopped.
The camel clutch.
Yeah.
Front face lock on Coco Beware. Referee Bill Rush down to check to see if Coco wants to give it up.
Brian Christopher trying to regain the control that he momentarily lost there. Coco
Ooh,
Beware.
referee bump.
Referee gets knocked down.
Referee Bill Rush caught that flying press from Christopher and rushes down. Whipped into the rope side, Brian. Comes around behind Coco Ware. Rolls him up. He's got him here.
He's got him, but the referee is not counting. Look out. Here comes Kid Wicked from behind. He smashes Brian with a double forearm. And now it's 2 against 1 as Kid Wicked holds Brian Christopher up. Brian ducks out of the way, and Coco nails Kid Wicked. Here's Brian with a right hand. Referee's calling for the bell. That's going to be a disqualification because Kid Wicked interfered. But look out. Coco Beware's got that dog collar and chain. Wraps it around Brian Christopher's throat. Here comes Dundee to help out. He smacks Coco Beware. Those two will be in that dog collar match for sure come Tuesday night, but it looks like we're going to get a preview right here. Referee again saying the bell is wrong. Get him out of here. Here comes Bruno.
Watching Power Pro Wrestling. Watching the entire show, July the 18th, 1998. Power Pro Show number 14.
Well, it continues. Randy Hale says he's got more to say. I hope he'll think better of it, but we'll be back in just a moment.
Did you know that front
Patio furniture, now at 20 to 50% off.
The best deals, they're always at Watson's.
Oh my goodness.
That was quite a deal.
Here on the Power Hour. Randy Hale's had his clothes ripped off of him. I see. He's coming back. Randy, is there any way I can talk you out of this?
Lawler has made a lifetime out of making mistakes. Let me tell you this. He's like a cat with 9 lives. He's always weaseled out of trouble. But let me tell you something. What you did today, Jerry Lawler, is the biggest mistake of your entire life. I promise you this. Tuesday night at the Malice in the Palace, what's going to happen to you with the giant king over 7 foot tall when you could have gone out with a blaze of glory? And now, if you would look at that, Jerry Lawler, the security's doing their job here. Why I tell the truth about the matter here. If you people would be quiet while I tell the situation, Tuesday night, Jerry Lawler's going to be beaten, battered, bloody. Stacy is going to be crying, tears coming down her eye, and she will realize
her meal ticket is over. That is what's going to happen Tuesday night.
Well, we'll find out Tuesday night at the Malice when he goes against the Giant King. He's a most upset man. You've got security there, got him blocked off so he can't get in here, I see.
Everybody, so when I walk through here, everybody, we want Jerry and cheering and booing me. Well, believe me, I'm the good guy in this situation. I'm not the heel. You people are making me out to be the heel, but I can tell you this. You people don't know the true story about Jerry Lawler, the real personal story about Jerry Lawler, and you know it, Dave Brown, and I'll tell you what it is right now. If you believe Jerry Lawler's a good guy, ask his first wife what a good guy is.
Randy, let's go.
Dave is so good.
Ask his two sons that he didn't give a you-know-what about. Ask Jerry Calhoun, ask Bill Dundee, ask his second wife, Paula. And this is another thing. People always ask me, Dave, they come up on the street and ask about the situation with Stacy. What's the relationship with Lawler and Stacy? Well, let me tell you, Stacy is nothing more than a two-bit.
Now, wait a minute. We're not going to go. We're not going to do that. You're not
Damn, it's too much for the king.
Television around here. You shouldn't be doing this anyway. And look out, here comes Lawler right here.
Lawler's gotten loose from security, Dave, and they're headed out to the parking lot again.
Let's go see what's happening. That doesn't look good.
Hey, buddy.
Is that your car again, Randy?
Yes. Very unusual way to end the show.
Come on, Hot. Go off, Hot. They want more. Fans want more. They want more. And Randy runs off to the gas station across the street.
Down
Pizza
Union
Hut.
Avenue.
Yep.
I was hungry, Michael.
I was going to say, had you called in an order?
Buffet.
There you go.
Pizza waiting on him.
I miss Pizza Hut. They used to be next to us
Now-
at the radio station. I miss them. I miss
What's
them
this?
and Red Lobster.
What's
Randy
it?
Hales and his stinking Giant King. And I promise you this. Can they hear me?
I don't know. Can they?
I'm going to tell you something. Randy Hales, Tuesday night, the Coliseum. It's going to be not the King's last night. It's going to be your King's last night. And it's going to be your last night. And you better start looking around for somebody else to run this stinking company. Or maybe I'll run it from now on. Do you understand what I'm saying, pal? Because I promise you, I'm going to finish you and your new king Tuesday night, Randy.
That was a Fargo-esque.
It was.
Take this shot right now. We can't let him go back in there.
Our earpieces don't work and all that.
I can't. We can't let him go back in there.
Malice City Palace coming up.
Hey, come to me right now.
Tuesday night.
Come to me.
South Coliseum.
Hey, let me tell you something, Lawler. Let me tell you something, Lawler. The Giant King, I promise you, you're going to pay. And what I say about Stacy is the truth. That's a promise. It's the truth.
Still in his underwear.
I guess we can't ask the question of Randy, boxers or briefs, can we?
That's the first boxers I've ever worn in my life, without doubt. We're gonna let Rusty go first. We're on the overtime right now. We're 1 minute after 9. Thanks everybody for watching. Your thoughts on the show tonight, and then we're really gonna let Michael deep dive on comparing this Power Pro show to traditional Memphis wrestling. But your thoughts on the show we've had today and the Power Hour, as we did something different today, Rusty.
Well, that show really was interesting because, like I said, I had moved away from Memphis in '85, so I really had not seen much of Memphis wrestling until, much later on. So I started catching up on Power Pro, years later when I was watching it on YouTube or wherever. I thought, wow, this is way different from, what wrestling looked like, in the 70s and 80s. And it was pretty cool. It really, as you said, it combined a lot of the old elements of Memphis wrestling, but it brought it more up to speed with WCW and WWF. So I would give it a plus, absolutely.
And now, for someone that was here in the USWA days and was not here because he was off running some radio station somewhere, Michael St. John, did you enjoy us changing the script a little bit for, not literally, but we changed the way we usually do this show, and I enjoyed watching a full power hour. Your thoughts and your analysis on what we just saw.
Without a doubt. Randy, I got to tell you, without a doubt, it's a great show. And I would have to guess that in your Power Pro timeline, that one would really have to stand out. Let me tell you, there are two things that stood out about that show different from the Memphis show. Number one, the way it came on and the way it went off. There were times on the shows that it would, but most of the time it was a standard open and a standard close. And then the second thing is every segment told a story. There wasn't any wasted segments. There weren't any buy time or ad time or whatever case may be. It was fast. It was on target. And I got to tell you, I don't know what was said in the back and who was putting the matches together, so to speak, between the talent. But I thought the talent were on point. I didn't see very much missed anything. So the talent were really on point. I think they were living it. They were breathing it. They were being, they were making magic, if you would, of the screen. Great formatting, great show. I sort of personally, and it's just me, I like the old setup of old Memphis Wrestling simply because the old standard show had been on for so long. And I'm a traditionalist, except when I wear my City Connects for the Cincinnati Reds. I'm a traditionalist, and I like it that way. But as I watch the show, I understand why you did that, and it played into the flow of the show much better than what the old Memphis set would have.
Right. Absolutely. And to tell you the truth, the Selkers, a day before we went on the air, tried to stop the show legally. Said it's the same thing as the USWA. And already in my head, I knew they would play that card. So our defense was no, the announcer's desk is here. And at the end of the power at the USWA run, it was Lance Russell and Michael St. John, and neither one of them are on this show. And there's the bleachers, and there's this and that. It's totally different. And for one reason, I thought it was time for a change, Michael, and for another reason, we had to.
No, I think it was well produced, well put on, well documented. I mean, how did that draw? How did the Malice in the Palace draw for you?
Not as good as I would hope. Around 3,500, 4,000 people.
Gotcha. Well, it's good stuff.
And we had just run the building 3 weeks before.
Right.
Plus, we ran July the 4th outside as well.
Right.
Free show for sure. Well, Pat Trammell is in Texas working with work. Chris Ellis is in Southside, Arkansas at work. And I was hoping to get Adam Dunn at least vocally on this show. Adam, this is your last chance to see what you thought about this Power Pro show today as you picked it out. And if you would like to make a comment right now, and I think he is saying he is not hooked up. It's funny, he was hooked up yesterday when we were off the air. I think he just don't want to be on. Anyway, Michael, this is fun. William, this was fun. I love you guys, and we're going to get Michael to get us out of here. Thank you, everybody.
On behalf of Randy Hales and the Dr. Rusty, the Blues Doctor, who's got a show coming up. What's on the show, Rusty, real quick? What's coming up on your show?
Actually, the Blues Doctor has a music special coming up starting tonight at midnight. It will be available on YouTube, a series of performances from various musical artists from New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, and even some from Memphis. So look forward to that.
Les bon temps, les barou, whatever that saying is down in New Orleans. Enjoy it and have a great time. For all of our great crowd that has joined us on this broadcast, you're as important on it as anybody on this. For the genius Randy Hale, who put this all together, I'm Michael St. John for Talking Memphis Wrestling. So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hale and special guests.